Blog Talk Radio.
The aroma of frankincense fills the area, and I put a drop of the essential oil on my forehead over my third eye. I call to Lady Athena, giver of wise counsel, master of applied creativity and strategic thinking, healer, patron of heroes and their mentors, defender of enlightened and selfless leadership, luminary of the lunar path. May we be granted the insights needed to triumph in all our challenges and discover unique and effective solutions to all our problems. Thank you, Athena, and I ask you to bless this new endeavor. Greetings to everybody. I am Hercules Invictus. My Olympian mission is to promote lifelong personal development, human empowerment, out-of-the-box thinking, creative self-expression, and a dedication of one's unique talents to community service. All of my labors in this lifetime celebrate the hero's journey in myth, legend, spirituality, popular culture, and in daily life. I firmly believe that the human spirit is essentially heroic and always seeking ways to express its innate nobility and greatness, and that a life fully lived dedicated to actualizing the highest we can conceive is the noblest expression of human existence. And before we start tonight's show, I will share with you the vision that inspires me. I call it my primal vision because it first came to me as a child, and it has remained with me for my entire earthly sojourn. It is there whenever I close my eyes. I glimpse the top of a mountain shrouded in mist. Hovering on high, I can discern the ruins of an ancient Acropolis complex in the timeless twilight. I wait alone, formless in the silence. In time, a lone figure, powerfully built and clad in the skin of a lion, makes his way toward the abandoned temple of the highest. His hair and beard are still mostly brown, though streaked with white and gray. In his right hand, he wields a knobby club studded with bronze. My consciousness enters this figure, and henceforth I see through his eyes. I know that I am now Hercules, son of Zeus and progenitor of my line. Entering the fallen structure, I move through it unerringly until I reach a rectangular stone table, a long-neglected altar to the Olympians. Upon the altar is an antique horn from a heavenly bull, I tell myself. I then realize that I've been here many times before and they know exactly what I must do. The horn is of monstrous size and etched with arcane glyphs. Some of the etchings are inlaid with silver. I put down my club, cautiously lift the artifact to my lips, then blow into the smaller end with all my strength. The bellowing call echoes through the firmaments. With the horn of summoning still in hand, I exit the temple and peer purposefully into the murky skies near where I myself once hovers. I can detect faint presences, spirits that have answered my summons who will help me in carrying out my Olympian mission. Some take on form while others remain formless. But this I know, all who have responded will assist me in some way, and that is important and crucial to complete my task. And with this realization, the vision starts to fade. I am blessed with a brief glimpse of the ruins restored to their former glory. The sky is lambent, blue, and clear. There are mythic beings engaged in joyous activity, I myself among them. And I realize that this is Mount Olympus, my eternal point of origin and return, my heaven, and my soul's true home. Welcome to the Mount Olympus radio station. I am Hercules Invictus, as I said before, and this is the Age of Heroes. Today, I am very honored to be speaking with Michael and Dianne Dunkin of the Sixth Revelation, of the Magisterial Mission of Lord Maitreya, and of Gabriel's Worldwide Religion of Love. Michael and Dianne were among the first who responded to the Horn of Summoning, and they're with me still adventuring, and here we're starting a brand new adventure and launching a worldwide religion of love. Greetings and welcome, Michael and Dianne.
Greetings, Hercules. It is an honor to be with you and to be guests on this new Olympian adventure with you. It's a real pleasure. We're so happy. We're so excited to be here, Hercules. And if you're looking for out-of-the-box thinkers, like you talked about in your introduction, we definitely fall under that category.
Yes, you do. You certainly qualify. I'm very excited. You're launching a worldwide religion, and I'm very honored and privileged to be a part of your adventure as well. Would you care to share with our audience exactly what is happening in these times of challenge?
Yes, Hercules. Dianne would like to give a little bit of an introduction to this day, this wonderful and glorious date of March 20th, 2020. But first I want to just give you a little bit of background about ourselves here for the listeners. Great. Yes, my name is Reverend Michael Dunkin. I'm an interfaith minister, and my wife is also an interfaith minister, Dianne Dunkin. And we have been privileged with the task of helping to share the worldwide religion of love that you talked about, Gabriel's worldwide religion of love, with Maitreya as one of the workers, putting in boots-on-the-ground policy to effect change on our earth during this time of the worldwide religion. And as you can see, there are lots of changes going on right now.
Yes, and I never thought I'd see these changes. This is a strange new world we find ourselves in.
Yes, a strange new world, and it will be a strange new world, but it will be a glorious new world, we're told. Mother Venus is Gabriel's consort. She will be providing beauty and especially love with this new worldwide religion. Well, we're to the point here where we are working with the celestials who have come to live with us and dwell with us and teach us about this new religion. 60 celestials now are in our home, dwelling with us, sharing with us these new ideas which they would like us to share with others, of course in our own way. There are others like you and other religious and spiritual leaders and maybe even lay people that will also be helping in this worldwide religion of love. Millions and millions and millions of celestials too, we're told, will be helping also. But this is a great time. This is a great time for our earth. It's a really positive time. Dianne and I have, our background is interfaith, really. We began studying together, especially Theosophy and the ancient wisdom. We've been members of the Rosicrucian order. We've also been members of Maitreya Great Tao. And we've just studied a lot, and we've learned a lot from other people, other cultures, other religions, other philosophies, and our growth with the celestials especially. We've been happily married it'll be 25 years, 25 years this year in July. So we're very excited and privileged to be a part of this new worldwide religion. But of course it has its responsibilities, so we've had to change our lives a lot, restructure, be very disciplined, take on increased personal responsibilities to be able to do this. And, it's something that I think from the very beginning, from when we first met, we knew that we were going to do something special, something to contribute to humanity. So here we are.
And I'm glad that you're here. And your story is a very interesting one. And since this is a new channel and a new show, why don't you and Dianne share a little bit beyond your journey through various spiritual organizations into your personal journey? Because it takes a special kind of person to bring a new religious insight, to bring a new religious impulse into the world. And you are definitely very special people. So I'm sure our listeners would love to hear more about your journey. What brought you to this particular point where you are on a mission from celestial beings?
Well, thank you for that, Hercules. I appreciate that. And you're very special, too. And we've had a very special relationship with you these past 3 years, really growing our ministry, really growing through your help, your kind support, your kindness, and, allowing us to really be a part of this platform that you have and now expanded platform. It's so wonderful. Thank you, Hercules. Here's Dianne. All right.
Okay, thank you. And thank you for your kind words.
Oh, well, I certainly share them too. You know that.
I know. Thank you.
I just wanted to mention something. Michael did say that we were Rosicrucians, and of course we are. And I just wanted to bring this to the listeners that it is 3,373 years since the very first ceremony of the mystical fraternity of the Rosicrucians under the great Pharaoh Akhenaten. And the reason that I tell you this is because today is March 20th. Last night we had the spring equinox, very late last night. So today is really the first full day of this brand new life. But I have always, since I was a little girl, 5 years old, was drawing hieroglyphics. I loved the stories of Egyptian rituals and ceremonies and so forth. So it seemed natural that I would become a Rosicrucian, and of course Michael too. But I just wanted to bring that to the readers, that Nefertiti, I know everyone would understand what I'm talking about, the beautiful statue of Nefertiti, that the large blue crown that she wears. I know a lot of people, if they saw it, that they would recognize her. And, of course, her nephew, King Tut. And a lot of people went to the King Tut exhibit. I went 5 times in Chicago. But this is a very important time, the spring equinox. The great religion of love by Gabriel and Venus is coming at the spring equinox. And this is when the sun enters the zodiacal sign of Aries. And the Rosicrucians, what we do is we celebrate this day every year. Now, a lot of religions do. I've found out. People think that they don't, but I found out a lot of them do, and the Rosicrucians do too. So, therefore, Akhenaten and Nefertiti. The history is that they had the very first ceremony for this. And so Michael and I wanted to continue that by mentioning it. It's not only the glorious time for Gabriel and Venus, but it's also a glorious time for Akhenaten and Nefertiti and all of their successors. That this is a special time of year, and every year is. And so not only being Theosophists, where we have learned about that Gabriel was Sanat Kumara with his beautiful bride, Venus, on the planet Venus. But the Rosicrucian society also is in our background. But Theosophy is very important because that's when we learned about a lot of the celestials that we have been seeing and talking about. And then you, Hercules, you introduced us to the Greek. And I had only, just read a little bit during junior high. I'd get on a bus and go to junior high, and I'd go directly to the library for an hour before school every day and read Greek mythology. But you, Hercules, you have opened us up to actually wanting to study about it and learn about it. And then when we talk to these celestials, they say, well, yes, at a certain time in culture, we were called Apollo, we were called Demeter, we were called Rhea, we were called, Hyperion, we were called Clymene, and so forth. And depending on the years, the culture, and the history of these celestials, they were called these different names. But the Greek has really influenced us the most, and that's due to you, Hercules.
Well, thank
really
you. And a miraculous series of events unfolded in my interactions with you. It was during one of my meditations that I received a visitation and a message from Zeus. And I've lived a life full of, basically supernatural events. So I decided to shelve that I got in the meditation and think about it some more, because it was very different from my other types of meditation communications. And then you and Michael had given me a message from the local universe father, who you had revealed to be Zeus from your communications. And the message you gave me was the same message I'd gotten in my meditation. And then, lest I think that this was a coincidence, I started having synchronicities for a very long time, and a great deal of them where the same message was coming back to me through many other mouths and overheard conversations. So I had to acknowledge that I'd received this message from Zeus, and slowly I opened my mind, my heart, and my spirit to these communications, and they started coming more often. And again, it's been my experience that if I take too long to act upon something, I will immediately get a message from you or from one of the other oracles who's in communion with Zeus, kindly reminding me of the message. So it opened up a channel of communication. So I'm grateful for that. And that was quite unusual in a lifetime of unusual experiences. So I thank you for that.
Oh, you're most welcome.
Well, Hercules, we'll go back a little bit to our background too, since you mentioned Zeus. Mm-hmm. It was, as I've mentioned, that we've studied a lot, and we've encountered a lot of different cultures and spiritual traditions and things of that nature that opened us to the celestials. Theosophy talks about avatars, and they talk about world teachers coming and things like that. Right. It was in 2011 that we kind of rediscovered the Urantia book. Mm-hmm. It's a book, just for your listeners' information, and which you know already, but it was a book published in 1955 in Chicago, Illinois. It came out of a Seventh-day Adventist family, John Harvey Kellogg, Kellogg's Corn Flakes. His mentor, of course, was Ellen Gould White. Her mentor, of course, was William Miller, and they all had visions of, different heavens and different planets and of Jesus and talking to Jesus a lot, and the Lord, and called him Christ Michael. William Miller, Christ Michael, Jesus, and Seventh-day Adventists, Archangel Michael as Jesus also. And of course, we know that other traditions have adopted that, like, the Mormons and the Jehovah's Witness. But in the Urantia book, the local universe father and the local universe mother are a pair. They're a pair of co-sovereigns. They create, or have created, they uphold and administer this local universe of Nebadon that's in the Urantia book. And that's about 10 million inhabitable planets worth of creation, of the Universal Father's creation. Well, they are a co-sovereign of this local universe, 10 million inhabitable planets. They have a very special relationship. They have a sacred marriage, just like Zeus and Hera, right?
Yes, it's called in Greek.
What's that?
It's called Ierosagamos in Greek, the sacred marriage, and it's a great blessing.
Oh, how interesting. Yes, because it's mentioned that they do have a sacred marriage. In the Urantia book, it's mentioned. Well, when a local universe father and a local universe mother, after they have completed a creation called a local universe, they begin having offspring. And in this case, in Nebadon, the offspring of local universe father and local universe mother is Gabriel. Gabriel is also called the bright and morning star. So they create a bright and morning star. And in this case, it's Gabriel. And then we learn through theosophy that Sanat Kumara was Gabriel, an ascended master, and Venus, Mother Venus, is also an ascended master, and neo-theosophic tradition.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned, Dianne mentioned, opening up the world of Greek mythology to us. And these celestials that are in the Urantia book, the celestials have come alive through our exploration of a lineage, like in the Greek. So what we've been encountering is these celestials, like Dianne said, that have been there throughout time. They've done different things on our planets. They've had different names and so on and so forth. But we started exploring them according to the Greek model, the Greek pantheon, the Greek lineages. And the family is the same. It's the same. The local universe father is Zeus. The local universe mother is Hera. Their offspring is Hephaestus, Gabriel. And Hephaestus has a sacred marriage with Aphrodite, with Venus. So you begin to see the correlation in the Urantia book and in Greek mythology and other places. So the Urantia book and you, Hercules, in our previous study have really tuned us in to the way the celestials are working right now. Maybe different names. They've come to us with different names, different personal names at first. And then when you peel it back, you find the lineages. But like Zeus, or local universe father, he said, call me Caesar, right? Which is like supreme ruler. And we found out later in the Urantia book, we said, oh, well, he's the supreme ruler of the local universe. So they've given us also personal names for them with our work with them. But I just wanted to get to the point here that the new worldwide religion of love is from Gabriel and from Venus on our earth at this time, under the supervision and, I guess, mentorship of Zeus and Hera. So that's their special mission right now, is to uplift our world according to Zeus and Hera's plan for our world at this time, also in line with the Universal Father's will for our planet at this time. So these celestials are living with us and they're working with us, and they want to spread the message of this new plan, this new worldwide religion to uplift humanity, but they want us to acknowledge them. They want us to thank them for everything that they do for us. They want us to love them more, which enhances our lives. And they also want everyone as a collective and an individual to return to God. It's an effort from them to guide us into a deeper relationship with God. Turn away a little bit from secularism, from selfish desires for material gain and all that, all that keeps us rooted to the earth,
right,
to partner with them more deeper in a deeper relationship with God. And Dianne's going to tell you a little bit.
I just wanted to mention another thing about our background. Through
Sure.
some very, very important friends that we met from Malaysia, who came here to America to bring the Great Tao to the Western people, and that was Kunlan Chok and also her cousin. And they became very important in our lives. In fact, the cousin married my son.
Wow.
and we made a wonderful trip to Malaysia, Michael and I, to meet with Master Wong, and he was the head of all of the Great Tao, and he resides in Taiwan. And he gave us a private audience for about 2 hours, and plus he paid for all of our expenses for 2 weeks in Malaysia. So
wow.
He was really wonderful. But we did missionary work too, though. Remember, we worked. But what I wanted to say is that Maitreya has been coming here and giving us messages of how he is going to change this world and change the programs, the social programs, our lives, the things that we do. And I was personally, Hercules, wondering, I was saying, well, how on earth is he going to do that? How is he going to get people to stop and start thinking about God and to stop what they're doing materially and in the world? And all of a sudden, something happened this last month or two.
What happened?
What happened? The Great Slowdown, Hercules. That's what happened. On March 5th, I got an inkling of how they can stop a person, Hercules. I have had an encounter with the local universe father before, with Zeus, and now it sounds like you share that with me, and I'll tell you, it's a wonderful thing to share. And March 5th, I was in a very hectic state, running around the house, trying to get everything done. Michael and I had just been on errands, and I ran downstairs saying, oh, I've got to go to the school and run down there. I like to walk to the school and pick up my child. And I was going upstairs just to get ready for that quick trip and, really excited about taking a nice walk on a beautiful day, when all of a sudden, in the room upstairs, a chamber came upon me. And I say a chamber of light.
Wow.
There were bars 2 inches thick all around me, interspersed around me, about a foot from me all around. And over my head was like a chandelier of light. It was an explosion, and there were geometric forms of the light. It was like a lampshade above me, and then bars of light around me. I couldn't move. I couldn't even really contemplate what on earth was happening. At first I thought, wow, am I having a heart attack, or have I died, or have I, did I have a brain aneurysm or something? I had no idea what was going on. I kind of stood there for a while saying, well, I can't live like this. And my husband was downstairs, and I called to him. I said, I'm dizzy. I can't pick up Alex. Will you go? And he went down to the school. I stayed in the room because I couldn't move. I was lucky to even have talked to my husband. And then all of a sudden, in front of me, I saw the Father, who, whether you call him Jesus, whether you call him Caesar, whether you call him Zeus or the local universe Father, to me he's the same entity. And I said, is it really you? Are you really here, Father? And he did answer. He was not smiling like in the first encounter I had with him. He was very serious. And he said, yes, I am here. Well, through feelings and so forth that I had and questioning, it seemed to me that this was very serious. And I was trying to figure out, well, am I going to get out of this? Will I ever be able to go back to my life? And then finally, after all these questions and them kind of giving me some support, I asked him, I said, "Can you help me, Father?" And he put his right hand on my forehead and then on my chest. After he did that, I knew I would be all right, and I was freed. And I went downstairs and laid down on the bed. And after a while, the lights faded, and really pretty quickly. It was just a few minutes. And then I knew I was all right. And Michael came home with Alex, and he asked me if I was all right. And I said, "Well, it's very strange. I'm just perfect." I said, "I'm perfect." I said, "I can't believe it, but I'm just perfect. There's nothing wrong with me." And I told him what happened. And I've been told since that the Father was trying to tell me to slow down, to stop, and continue life in a different way. I was to change being hectic and so immersed in every little activity all day long, to be more quiet, thoughtful. And I know now, and they have told me, that they want everyone in the world to start to slow down, be more thoughtful, be more quiet. And I'm telling you, Hercules, when they want to stop you, they can. And this country is in a great slowdown. And here Michael would like to talk about that.
Okay, thank you. Wow, that was very profound. Thank you for sharing it with us, Dianne.
Well, thank you, Hercules. And so, a lot's been happening, of course, we know. We know that Nick has been talking about, the things that have been happening in New York with a lot of places shutting down, museums, restaurants. It's all over the place. It's all over. I wanted to mention that this. You also mentioned, in the introduction of us, that we're not only involved with Gabriel's Worldwide Religion of Love, which we've touched on a little bit, but especially within the last couple of years in our videos, in our songs, on our radio programs, that Gabriel at this time will be appealing to individuals and globally, collectively, to bring more divine truth into our minds, into our lives. Mother Venus will be opening our hearts to more divine love for ourselves, to help ourselves more, and love for others, global love, and also beauty. But you also mentioned in the introduction, you mentioned that we're part of the Magisterial Mission. And Dianne was talking about Maitreya Great Tao, that Lord Maitreya is working with Zeus and Hera, local universe father and mother, to affect, boots on the ground, real, tangible type changes. And we're told that this coronavirus pandemic, this COVID-19, is a part of Lord Maitreya's magisterial mission in, collaboration with local universe father and mother. And it's interesting that right at this time we found it really peculiar, right at this time of Gabriel's new worldwide religion beginning, which is actually today. And we've been saying this for 2 to 3 years now, that today is the day. Today's the special day when it starts. The worldwide religion starts, but it's the first phase. It really kicks into gear, under Gabriel and Mother Venus. It really kicks into gear in 2022. But this 2-year phase is an initial phase. It's an initial phase to make a transition, to get us ready for the new worldwide religion of love. Maitreya is working on it, many, many others, many celestials that are in our home. So this is part of the magisterial mission, but also new worldwide religion of love. So what is happening, Hercules, is we're being told that this is a great slowdown. We're calling it the Great Slowdown. And what they're doing, basically, is they are slowing everyone down. They're getting us on a different track. They're shifting our priorities. And I wanted to read really quickly this letter that we put out to friends. Thanks. To friends in the Urantia book community about this particular subject. We put it out to our Urantia book community friends. Of course, you know, and we've mentioned it to some of the listeners, that I'm a past president of UBLA, which is Urantia Book Los Angeles Society, and Dianne has been on the board. Before that, I was the education chair for 2 years, so 4 years of leadership in the Urantia Book community. We developed many friendships and many contacts. So we have a really nice group of people with whom we are sharing the Sixth Revelation, the Magisterial Mission, and Gabriel's New Worldwide Religion of Love. So we put this out to them because this is the information we're getting about this initial phase before 2022. And about halfway through the letter, here's what we write.
Okay.
The local universe father and mother have now begun a new phase of their plan. They are assisting humanity in switching its speeding train onto another track. This new and better track will run in tandem with Gabriel's worldwide religion of love. One of the initial steps our celestial leadership is now using to effect this change is in their utilization of the pandemic known as the coronavirus, or COVID-19. As we speak, the coronavirus pandemic is effectively slowing down humanity across the globe. We are seeing long-established institutions and industries in our country and around the world slowing down to a crawl. Some are even shutting down completely and indefinitely. We are calling it the Great Slowdown. This Great Slowdown is part of an effort by the celestial leadership of our planet, our local system, which involves Gabriel and Mother Venus, and our local universe, which involves Zeus and Hera, local universe father and mother, to quote unquote, stop them in their tracks and to calm down the humans on this planet. It is and will be an effective method to help humanity turn their focus away from a frantic, emotionally charged, out of control, secular, and material-centered way of functioning into a more peaceful, tranquil, and God-centered life of truth and love of humanity. This slowdown is and will lead to a correction on the path that humanity has been on for the last 50 years, since World War II. Since World War II, but especially since the mid-1960s. In the West, we have seen incredible advances in science, medicine, and technology, while at the same time seeing a decline in spirituality, morality, ethics, and a value of life, or value for life. In the East, we have seen authoritarian regimes twist ideologies that deprive God's children their life, freedom, and dignity. This action by the local universe father will help to balance us and, quote unquote, get us on the right track. Some in the past have anticipated this time of celestial action, calling it a correcting time. That time has now come. During this initial correcting time phase, and with the coronavirus epidemic, everyone on Earth right now is being forced to stop and take a deep breath. We are given this period of time to reevaluate and reflect upon how we have been functioning as individuals and as a society. And I go on to say we're refocusing and shifting our thinking. But it's also a time, a slow down time for us to be able to receive an influx of Mother Venus's love, and to receive an influx of higher and divine truth from Gabriel.
Wow.
So we think it's the pandemic that is transitioning us, that Maitreya is using to transition us to that 2022 point.
Wow, that's pretty startling. How about all the people who are dying from the coronavirus? How do they fit into this plan, the divine plan?
Oh, I'm sorry, Hercules. We only have one phone, so I guess that you were talking about the prayers that I have been making and Michael have been making for the people that are suffering right now and actually dying from this. Yes, a lot of people are saying, why would God cause such suffering, and why would people have to die, and so forth. Of course, no one can really answer those questions. I just know that the Father told me that this was very, very serious. In other words, when I was under that chandelier, that light chamber, I couldn't believe that the Father would do that to me, to be honest with you, Hercules. Mm-hmm. Afterward, I thought about it, and I thought, why would the Father put me through that? Because that was most people, I think, would be very, very scared to go through something like that. And I have to tell you, I was not afraid. Not one bit. I was not afraid. But I also knew I couldn't live like that. I knew my life was over, if I couldn't get out of that. So the answer I have for you is I don't know why we would have to be put through suffering and people dying for this. I don't know. But I do know that I was told afterward, when I asked them, I said, why would they do that to me? And so forth. And they said, this is really serious. You must understand how serious this is and how important this is. So Hercules, they know God is in control, and we do not. But I'm sure that they have a plan, and it's part of the divine plan. And I know I've had people call me. I have to tell you, Hercules, some of our friends have called. We had one Urantia friend that called this week, and he was asking the same thing in a way. His father had just died at a very young age, only 63, and he had come to our home, and we had prayed with him. I don't know if we told you about that family, but he brought the whole family, and now they're having some problems because he's still having health problems. He was in the hospital, and he says, I'm still having trouble with my chest and all. And he says, why are we having to go through this? And his business now, he's in the food business, but restaurants more. And so he's lost 40% of his work already. And he was saying, why are we having to go through this? So I had another gentleman call me who is a dear friend who has a store in the historic area of San Juan Capistrano, Lewis. I won't give his last name, but he called me. And he was saying the same thing. His niece had just passed away. He just got back from Mexico from the funeral. And he has been calling me over and over on why are people having to go through this suffering. His niece just died, just Friday night. But also he said, what do I do? He says, we're all going to meet for a meeting at 1 o'clock today. He says, what do I do? He says, some of the stores are going to close. What do? I don't want to close. And I said, well, let me talk to the Father. And I went to talk to the Father, and I came back on the phone, and I said, Louis, you closed your store for 2 weeks, and really you should close it for much more. I said, close it. He says, well, I don't want to. What about the weekends? I said, the Father says, close it up. Everybody has to pray and think about their life in a new way. Close your store. And he did. And he unfortunately had to tell his employees that the news, and everything. But this is the question: why do we have to suffer? I don't know. I'm so sorry. I don't know. But I do know that the Father knows and has his purposes. And the answer is to remember that the joy and the bounty and the prosperity is still there to come. We are going through this dark and challenging time and despair, but the joy is at the end of the rainbow. And everything will rebound, and everything will rebound better than it ever has been. But it will be better because we will have more for those that have had nothing. There will be more given to those that are needy. Everyone will have the extras and some of the luxuries that maybe they never ever thought they would have. Maitreya is not bringing happiness. He is going to be bringing a world that is so much better. One time I said, "Oh, dear Lord, why are you doing this?" And they said, "Dianne, don't you realize this is not the greatest world you're living in right now? We want to bring a more prosperous world to those who have no chance of it the way the world is now. We want to make bounty and prosperity and happiness a light in life, a planet that is truly in line with the Father's will." So I have to be looking at the future and what will come, Hercules. And I'm so sorry, and I'm praying for those that are suffering.
I understand, and part of what this new program, this new step is trying to accomplish is that humanity work in better partnership with the Celestials. We understand that the Earth is a place of learning, and that the learning can take very many forms, some of them not altogether pleasant. So how can we, in partnership with the Celestials, make this a more productive learning experience, one that need not go through suffering to the extent that it often does? And why I'm starting off the Age of Heroes with the Celestial spirituality groups is because the Celestials are still in active communication with people in celestial spiritualities, whereas in other spiritualities that are more religious, it is fossilized in ritual, perhaps, and except for vague feelings, people don't really get direct encounters with the gods of old. So what the attempt is here is to work in partnership. So how can we, as incarnate mortals in this place and in this time, work with the Celestials to make this a more uplifting experience? So part of it is allowing platforms so that the voice can reach out and communicate. So that we've accomplished today, and starting, you're going to be back on Thursday with your normal show, and then starting next month, you'll have a day every month that will be dedicated to getting the word out. What else can we do? How can we assist Aphrodite or Venus in spreading her worldwide religion of love? How can we help Hephaestus or Gabriel in bringing the light into people's minds?
Thank you for that wonderful question, Hercules. It's summed up basically with 3 words, and it's one of my titles of one of my songs that is going to be on our new album called God Bless the World. It is, those 3 words are return to God. Return to God. That is individually through a program of holiness and spiritual communion with God, and collectively as a community, realizing, which we are doing with this pandemic, realizing how connected we are, and utilizing that connectedness to share the positive messages of love, of truth, and of all the wonderful things that the Celestials do for us. So I think as they as they work with us individually, internally, and externally, because we're being worked with right now externally and internally, because this is affecting everyone. They're working with us internally and externally, many of them, not just Maitreya and Local Universe Father and Gabriel and Venus. They're working with us, but we also, I think part of the new programs will be showing us what we need to do individually to become more holy, more loving, live more in line with God's will for us, showing us what, helping us develop our personal path, not just part of a religious group, but our personal path. All of these things will become more apparent during these changes, the changes that we're going through collectively and individually. So I would say individually, holiness, talking to God, communing with God, thanking God. Thanking God's a big one. And then collectively understanding how we affect each other and using every opportunity to uplift each other through love, through a smile, through support, through giving.
Wow, that is a thoughtful and deep answer, one that requires a lot of contemplation, and you have given this message in other words before, and it still remains very powerful. Thank you for that. We're slowly approaching the end of today's adventure, so are there any last words you'd like to leave with people before we end for today?
Well, first, I'd like to say thank you, Hercules, so much for this real privilege to help kick off this new show that you're starting. Wow, a new phase! It's so exciting, and we're so excited to be a part of that journey. So thank you, Hercules. I want everybody to know that we thank you, and everyone out there listening. Hercules is fantastic. He is.
Well, thank you.
You are so giving. And you are so generous, and your ministry is so pure and holy, Hercules. I want everyone to know that when you partner with Hercules, you're working for God.
Well, thank you for your kind words.
And here's Dianne.
Okay.
I just have a last word.
Okay.
Quite a while ago, last year, well, it's been quite a while, we had a team meeting with 4, what we were told, Melchizedeks. And we came to find out that they were Uranus, the father, his 2 sons, Hyperion and Iapetus, and Pluton, his grandson. These 4 came to us as Melchizedeks in preparation for all of this done by Maitreya, all of his hard work that he's been doing, trying to prevent war throughout the world. And their message was that they were going to be giving each person, every one of the 7 billion, a personal message in their heart. And you're saying, well, what can be done? We cannot, but the gods are. They are going to personally give each person a new pathway, a new goal. It may not be a material goal, but it will be a new goal and a new way to live their life. And I think maybe what they're doing now may seem very hard, but I think that it's forcing people to change their ways, to stop and realize that there is more to just what they're doing every day, going to work, making food, and so forth. So I wanted to bring this out. The gods do have a plan. They are in control. They know what's best for us. And each one of these 4, they promised to lead each person, every one of the 7 billion, to a better life and a more prosperous and happy one. So let's think positively and realize that that is the goal for them, and that should be the goal for all of us, to have a better life.
Powerfully said, Dianne. Thank you. And how can folks learn more about your ministry and your work?
Well, we have a YouTube channel, as you mentioned earlier. Our YouTube channel is called Michael and Dianne Dunkin. That's Michael, M-I-C-H-A-E-L, separate word and then D-I-A-N-N-E, and then Dunkin, like Dunkin' Donuts. That's Michael and Dianne Dunkin. We have 85 videos now that
Wow.
show our ministry, our celestial team meetings, our interviews, radio interviews, our artwork, our songs, and a couple other special, services that we've had in Maitreya's temple in our backyard. A lot of things that talk about Gabriel's new worldwide religion of love, Maitreya's magisterial mission, and, of course, the local universe father and mother's 10-year plan that was from the very beginning, from when they first started.
I remember when you first started, yes.
Yeah, it talks about that too. And, of course, the 10-year plan is thanking God for thanking the Father for our life and thanking the Mother for our blessings 3 times a day. And then we also, if you want to contact us personally, it's Michael and Dianne, it's Michael Dunkin1 at hotmail.com. Michael Dunkin1 at hotmail.com. We also have 5 albums. They're on CD Baby, and you can just go to CD Baby Reverend Michael Dunkin for my artist page. So I think, and we used to have a worldwide prayer day, but we're encouraging everyone to pray on a regular basis, of course, for everyone in the world, for prosperity, for health, for happiness, and that also the new worldwide religion will, Gabriel's and Mother Venus's new worldwide religion will open their hearts more to divine love, and Gabriel opening their minds to divine truth, and that everything will be better than it has ever been on our planet.
Amen to that. Thank you very much. I'm going to close the show with a description of what the Age of Heroes is all about, and then a call to Apollo. Within us all is a unique greatness. All of us were granted divine gifts at birth, and a grand destiny lies ahead for anyone willing to follow their path. The age of the victim is finally over, and the age of heroes has dawned. The way of the hero posits that one must utilize one's individual strength to make one's world a better place. One need not be perfect or operating from ideal circumstances either. Are not the heroes that inspire us often tragically flawed? Are their lives not in a state of flux and full of uncertainty? Does this prevent them from attempting and accomplishing great deeds? Our Age of Heroes initiatives have harnessed the creative energy and focused the attention of many heroic individuals with radically diverse backgrounds over the years, directing it towards improving the collective quality of human life. The Age of Heroes welcomes secular, interfaith, and interfaith participation. As with the Argonaut expedition of old, the children of different and sometimes warring gods partner with exceptional people to face great challenges and accomplish something that will benefit us all as people. And now I call Lord Apollo, charioteer of the sun, master of music and prophecy, healer, patron of higher learning and medicine, exemplar of the solar path. May we be granted the wisdom to fully learn your lessons and pass your current tests. Until next time, this is Hercules Invictus and Michael and Dianne Dunkin, wishing you all joyous journeys and amazing adventures. Thanks a lot, Michael and Dianne.
God bless the world, and God bless you.
Indeed, and you as well. And we don't have music yet, so we will just end the program here.